When Alex Albon lost his seat at Red Bull in 2021, many people counted him out. Not many drivers would have been able to bounce back from such a public disappointment, but here he is driving a Formula One car again in the 2022 season. And he's not just back, he's scoring points. Where did he go when he left Formula One, and what helped him bounce back from the lowest point in his career? Stay tuned to find out. First up, Daddy's Boy. Alex had an interesting childhood. His father was a racing driver who competed in the early 2000s. His biggest achievement was winning the 2002 Sepang 12-hour race. He never made it into Formula One, but he has been involved in motorsport for his entire life. He obviously passed some of his driving genes onto his son because Alex started racing at the age of 8. It wasn't long before he was karting around the country and viewed as a promising future star of British racing. Alex is half British and half Thai, with the Thai part coming from his mother. Her name is Kankamol Albon, and she had a bit of trouble with the law when Alex was a teenager. Well, more than a bit of trouble. She was sentenced to 6 years in prison for her part in a $10 million car scam. She was selling luxury cars to investors, but never delivering them. This scam helped pay for Alex's private school and comfortable upbringing, but it also sent her to prison when Alex was just 15. The police took away their house and most of their money, which meant that Alex and his 4 siblings fell on hard times. Alex had said that it was the hardest year of his life, but he is thankful that his mother is out of prison now, and they have a very close relationship. She said that Alex now forgives her for what she did, and she's now his #1 fan. With a motor racing dad and some experience with adversity, Alex grew into a resilient young driver who can handle the highs and the lows. If you know anything about the Red Bull team, then you know that their junior team is the secret to their success. Helmut Marko is the head of the program, and the goal is to find young, promising drivers to sponsor in junior categories of racing. Formula 3, Formula 2, and similar competitions all require a huge amount of funding, and most of that falls on the driver to provide. This is what the Red Bull Junior team is designed for. And when Alex Albon joined the team in 2012, he was on track to reach Formula One. He came second in the GP3 series, losing out to Charles Leclerc, and then third in the Formula 2 championship behind George Russell and Lando Norris. All of these drivers are now in Formula One, which shows just how competitive his class of drivers was. They all grew up together and have been racing one another for years, but each of their paths has been a little different. Charles Leclerc got promoted to Ferrari after only 1 year in F1. George Russell had to slug it out at the back of the grid before his promotion to Mercedes, and meanwhile, Lando Norris went straight to McLaren. For Alex, it was a little different. Being part of the Red Bull team is not all rainbows and sunshine. It means constantly competing for a place in the team. They can use their senior and junior teams as a first team and reserve team. Drivers like Daniil Kvyat and Brendan Hartley have been thrown by the wayside when Red Bull didn't see a future in them. And unfortunately for Alex, he joined that list after his disappointing time at Red Bull. Alex Albon failing against Max. Sometimes you just can't perform. Pressure affects even the best of us. But that's what separates the mediocre athletes and the great athletes. When Alex joined Max Verstappen, he couldn't handle the pressure. He was making a lot of mistakes that he'd never made before, and he just couldn't match the pace of Max Verstappen. Plus, there was constant criticism in the media about his performance. Oh, and it didn't help that he had Netflix following him around filming his downfall for Drive to Survive. But was it really fair to compare him to Verstappen? Max is basically an F1 prodigy developed by his father Jos for the sole purpose of racing. He was the golden child of F1 and was so good in his junior career that Red Bull promoted him at the tender age of 17. Since then, he pushed out the lightning-quick Daniel Ricciardo and has been the #1 driver ever since. His future teammates have all struggled to adapt too. Before Albon, Red Bull tried Pierre Gasly. Gasly is clearly a world-class driver. He has shown this time and time again while with Toro Rosso and Alpha Tauri. In 2020, Gasly had a fairy tale win at Monza with Alpha Tauri that he badly deserved. But Gasly just couldn't perform during his time as Max's teammate. And Alex Albon had the same problem. His first half season started off shaky, but nothing disastrous. But the following year in 2020, Albon finished outside of the points 4 times, and his highest result was 3rd. These may be good results for Toro Rosso, but for a team that's trying to compete with Mercedes, it just wasn't good enough. Where did Alex go when he disappeared from Formula One, and how did he come back stronger than ever? Don't go away, because all of this is coming right up. Dedicated time to mourn. Alex's demotion hit him hard. He had disappointed himself by not performing when it mattered the most. But maybe it wasn't wasn't him. Gasly had struggled before him, and the Red Bull car was notoriously tricky to adapt to. Maybe it just didn't suit his driving style. After dropping back down to reserve driver, Alex took some time away from Formula One and went in a different direction. He entered the Deutsche Tourenwagen Masters, or DTM for short. DTM is a touring car championship in Germany that has been won by F1 drivers Paul di Resta and Pascal Wehrlein. Albon entered the competition with fellow Red Bull teammate Liam Lawson for the Red Bull AF Course team. That's one good thing about being part of the Red Bull network. They have teams and competitions all over the world. If they don't have a spot for you in one place, they can shuffle you around somewhere else in motorsport. Alex came in 6th place in the championship and even had a race win in Germany. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson came 2nd in the championship. In their first race of the season, Lawson won and Alex came in 3rd place. This proved to be just what Alex needed, some time away from Formula One. After so many years trying to reach F1 and then fighting for his place there, maybe some fresh air was a nice change. After that, he was ready to come back swinging. The comeback kid. If you made a series of mistakes on global television, you might want to retire from public view, but for Alex, it gave him more fire. He wasn't about to give up. As the news broke that he'd been demoted to reserve driver and would be replaced by Sergio Perez, he said that it hurts. But he also said that there was no way that he was giving up and he would be back for more. After his brief stint in DTM, Alex returned to Formula One, but not with Red Bull. This time, he was with Williams after George Russell left for Mercedes. It looked like his Red Bull days were over, but team boss Christian Horner has said that he still has a link to the team if they decide to employ him again. Albon can't have been expecting too much. Williams have consistently been the last place on the grid since they almost went bankrupt in 2020. Michael Latifi lent the team £50 million and installed his son Nicholas as a driver. But even though Williams stayed alive, it didn't make them any more competitive. They came last in the Drivers' Championship in 2020 and 8th last year. The start of this season has had mixed results, but Albon managed to climb his car up into 10th place. This was a great achievement, and the first points scored for the team in 10 races. With the 2020 regulations shakeup, it could be the end for the wooden spoon for Williams. Alex even managed to finish above McLaren in the first race, and he'd been more than happy to rub it in his childhood buddy Lando Norris's face. What do you think about Albon's return to Formula One? Does he deserve a seat? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.